This is a short film of a continuous line drawing. It seeks to offer the practical knowing that has emerged from my time in the doctoral program. As a short film of material encounters, it demonstrates research methods, ethical negotiations, and epistemological and ontological reflexivity. It brackets in some of the voices that are key to this work: Audre Lorde, Vanessa Mercado de Oliveira, and Karen Berard. The nature of this assessment task means the voice of my human collaborator in our research collective, Regenerative Intimacies, without which there would be no research, is not positioned to write with me. This is content in our process. 1. Continuous line drawing. This is an ethico-onto-epistemological stance. It is the assumption that this work believes in and seeks to reflexively embody and assist upon for its own survival and commitment of care. 2. Separability. It is my desire as a researcher and human in the world to unlearn the logic of separability, the denial of entanglement, our insistence in seeing ourselves as separate from each other and the land, rather than entangled with a wider living metabolism that is bio-intelligent. Practices of knowing and being are not isolable, they are mutually implicated. We don't obtain knowledge by standing outside the world. We know because we are of the world. We are part of the world in its differential becomings. The separation of epistemology from ontology is a reverberation of a metaphysics that assumes an inherent difference between human and non-human, subject and object, mind and body, matter and discourse. 3. Invagination. The way viscera folds back in on itself, increasing surface area and supporting nutrient exchange in small spaces. This research is part of a continuous, open and constrained system. It is opening out and folding back onto itself, creating intimate encounters, and in these spaces, these interstitial zones of difference, rich ecologies can flourish. Interior and exterior, past, present and future, are iteratively enfolded and reworked, but never eliminated and never fixed. Interactions reconfigure the possibilities for change. Ethicality is part of the fabric of the world. The call to respond and be responsible is part of what is. There is no spatio-temporal domain that is excluded from the ethicality of what matters. 4. Distinctive identities emerge from the continuous line, but they are not separate from it. How they are seen, which parts of the process are revealed, documented, amplified, denied, elevates, promotes, and stories the line differently. Whose identities are denied or erased, and whose are gilded and celebrated. How the line is storied matters. 5. Extraction. This work feels the pain of extraction. The continuous line is a commitment to tracing extraction and not turning away from its own habits and the pressure of extraction upon it. 6. Visibility. The continuous line is a commitment to making visible the process of worlding and to notice when the pen lifts, when the video pauses, when decisions are opaque, how power moves in the drawing, erasing and benefiting from the function and aesthetic of the line. Which hands have the apparatus to erase the lines of connection and extraction, to isolate and dislocate phenomena? 7. Country as teacher. As a work of invagination, this research continues to fold back into itself key collaborators from Kulin country. I return to these few, trusting that these durational intimate encounters are infinite. Bracken, a rhizomatic fern with sturdy topside growth. She teaches me that fruits emerge from the vast underside world that is opaque on the surface. Rocks, they are the ancestors of country, my ancestors and my chosen literary lineages. Ioke, eel, shows me the musculature of my desire and the lengths I will go to pursue safety. He shows me the fight I must bring myself to when held in the grip of the trapper. 8. Immanence. The line cannot form itself. It is relationally immanent, a topside expression. The research that topsides with me is the refusal to deny the continuous line, the bracken. Audre Lorde, black feminist poet, when contemplating her cancer diagnosis in 1978, and therefore her mortality, in her essay The Transformation of Silence into Language and Action writes, "My silence has not protected me, and yours will not protect you." Why am I telling you this? Because here we are in an academic community together, and my desire, both personal and collective, is to be part of creating access to academic spaces for stories to be told in ways that don't require the separation or silencing of selves and contexts to participate. I want to be here. I have an aptitude to be here, and yet to be here is beyond my ability when living under the logic of separability. The tension in the line with my role to parent, care, educate, nourish, and provide stable housing for my family is close to breaking. Academia as we know it today, and formal education in general, has been created to uphold modernity, to recruit supporters, and to secure modernity's future. In order for this to happen, academia must reproduce the denials of entanglement, planetary limits, systemic violence, and its complicity in them. In entering the doctoral program as a solo writer, writing about my co-research with regenerative intimacies, I am unable to write. For when I write, I am extracting from a continuous line, a collaborative entanglement. When I try to make time to write, I deny the needs of my family, my health, my finances. I extract myself from a continuous line, already drawn thin by those who systemically exploit and erase the care I give. Either way, the mechanisms of modernity require the denial of this piece of the continuous line drawing. The desire here is to move together, to dance beyond the binary, to create space for process and values to be radically confluent and congruent, to ask, why not co-writing in a doctorate? Why not doctoral research that doesn't deny entanglement? An ethico-onto-epistemological stance, whose mattering matters. Remaining silent on how academia is structured to uphold modernity and the effects of that on me doesn't protect me. Remaining silent of the structure of gender to uphold modernity and the effects of that on me doesn't protect me. This has been experienced profoundly in artistic inquiries as content emerging in our process. The work that has top-sided itself over the last 2 years with regenerative intimacies insists that the violence of separation and bondage be declared, and if this would not be done in an intentional way, the work would scream it in an artistic way. This work seeks to stand by radically relational research as both an ethico-onto-epistemological position and a survival strategy that elevates intersectional voices. It is committed to make visible the extraction from the continuous line and fill in the gaps when erasure is enacted. We can learn to work and speak when we are afraid, in the same way we have learned to work and speak when we are tired. For we have been socialized to respect fear more than our own needs for language and definition. And while we wait in silence for that final luxury of fearlessness, the weight of that silence will choke us. The fact that we are here and that I speak these words is an attempt to break that silence and bridge some of those differences between us. For it is not difference which immobilizes us, but silence. And there are so many silences to be broken.